Alright, this is the first video in a series where I'm going to be building a Morgan replica 3-wheeler. Now, it's probably going to be following the old Bra CX3 design more than anything, but it's also going to incorporate some items from Triking and Ace Cycle Car, Morgan itself. There are aspects of all of them that I like, and some of them I'd like to incorporate. Now, the first in here is going to be me building the build table itself. Now, in building this, I'm going to be following pretty much the low cost 7 form of building a car. So first is going to be a build table. Now, the build table is going to be laminated beam. It's going to be like 2x4s or 2x3s with plywood laminated to the outsides. This way I can get my strength and I'm not worried about it bowing on me. Also, when I tried to get the 12-foot 2x4s, I couldn't find straight ones. So I ended up with smaller ones that I'm going to be laminating together. Well, I hope you enjoy this, and if you like the series, please subscribe. Comments are more than welcome, and I will do my best to answer any of them. But all else aside, let's get started. Alright? Alright, first off, we're going to cut the skins or outside lamination. So we're going to cut plywood into 7-inch wide strips so that it can be laminated to the outsides of the beam. It's going to take approximately 28 of these, give or take something screwed up or whatever. So it's going to take 2 sheets of plywood. So let me get these cut and I'll get right back to you. Alright, so we got the plywood pieces cut for the outside. Now what I got to do is I got to cut a couple of the 2x4s, 2x3s in this case, so that I can stagger the joints inside the beam. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut 2 of these 2x3s that's 6 foot long and save the piece on the end, and we'll get right back. Alright, what we're going to do here is we're going to build the beam itself. So, because I couldn't find any 12-foot straight pieces of lumber at Lowe's, shocker there, I am combining 2x3s to make the laminate beam. So, what you do is you stagger your joints. Okay, I got one here, and one here. Then what you're going to do is you're going to glue and screw these on top. Okay. Like so. But before we did anything, I checked the level of the bench, and the bench was level. That was great. But it wasn't straight across the front, so I popped a string line across the front to make sure that it stays level, or stays straight. So, what we're going to do is I'm going to pause. I'm going to glue up the front side and get back with you. Okay, so we glued the first section up, a little bit of the second section, and what we're going to do is we are going to attach plywood to this first section. Don't want to get too far ahead of yourself. Okay, now you can spread the glue out if you want, but it should be fine on its own. So what we're going to do is we're going to line this up and this first one, and I'll be right back. Okay, the first section is screwed down, glued and screwed. I'll do the same on the other end, and I will do the middle. Okay, so here's what's going to happen. We're going to do both sides like that, and then I'm going to flip it over. Alright? Alright, we got the top and bottom 2x3s in. I have got 2 or 3 screws every foot going down. So now what we need to do is flip it over, and I'll show you the next step. Alright, now that we got it flipped over, what we're going to do is we're going to cut pieces of 2x4, because every 2 feet there is going to be another joist going across. Okay? So in this space, what we're going to do is cut a 2x4 and glue it in, and then screw it from both top and bottom. Okay? Alright, so what we're going to do is take our blocks, okay, and put a little glue on them. Alright, put them down in place. Take the next one, and do the same. Alright, I'll do that for the rest of them and be right back. Alright, just to show you, I already did the one down at the end, but I'm not screwing the centerpiece in. What I'm doing is gluing it and then sandwiching it. Because everywhere where one of these are, there's going to be a cross joist with 2 bolts going in, and it should create more than enough stability. So, this is how I apply my glue, of course. You just lay the sheet in. Line it up on the edge. And screw it in. Start one on this edge. Make sure it's lined up properly. Make sure it's right. Alright, I'll finish this up and we'll move on to the next. Alright, we have finished up the 2 main beams down the side and the 7 joists that go across the other side, or go across. Now what I did with the joists was I went ahead and made them at 48 inches, and I trued them all up to one side. Made sure every piece trued up, and then I cut them down to 44 inches to go in between the beams. In that way, truing up everything square on the other end as well. Well, now we'll move on to the setting the pilot holes. Now, as you see here, I've drilled pilot holes 1.5 inches up, 1.5 inches from the bottom, and 1.16 over. This is just for the end one. The rest of them will be laid out in 24-inch increments. Now, this pilot hole to the outside I drilled at 1/4 inch, and the pilot hole that goes into the cross beams, cross joists, I drilled at 7/16. Now I'm using these lags that I picked up at Lowe's. It's a pan head. with a Torx bit. This way, when I need to take it apart, it'll be easy enough to do. Alright, now this is how I did the end of that. Now let me show you how I did the cross joist. Okay, these are the cross joists. And as you see, inch and a half, and centered. This way when I screw it together, it'll make a nice flush fitting. Well, let me finish that up, and we'll move to the next step. Alright, I got everything pre-drilled for the top. All my holes are in. I put the holes in the ends here and all the way down for each one of these. Now what I've done is I have laid out for my legs. One leg here, one up there, one there, one there. I'm going to have 4 legs going down the side and be a foot overhang on each end. By the way, we'll be posting details of this build, blueprints in other words, of the table on my blog page. There'll be a link at the bottom. I hope it helps somebody. If you don't need one this sturdy, you can always make adjustments as necessary. But in the meantime, I'm going to cut these legs and we will get to the next stage. Alright, here we already got one side built and the other side we're starting to put the supplies up for. Okay? But basically, as you can see, it is your base plate at the bottom, which is pressure treated by the way. Okay? And then up top is your laminated beam. You have your 4 main supports going along, and then diagonal supports for stability. We have built one, we're setting up to build another right on top of it. And once these are built, we can actually start assembling the table. So let me get this and we will set up for the next stage of this. Alright, we're ready to start assembling. First we need to get that table and table saw out of the way. So I will be right back. Okay, we got the sides up and the first joist. Now what I'm going to do is put the rest of the joists in, put the boards on the end, at the bottom end, then I'm going to level it up before I put any cross braces in. Alright, here's a side angle. And let's just give you a once over. Move it around. Alright, now we're going to put the top on and I'll show you a final shot. Alright, that's the end of the table. It's solid as a rock. It's not going anywhere. It's not going to bow. You can park a car on top of it. You can jump up and down on it all day long and you won't. It's more solid than your house. Now, like I said, I'm going to post this drawings on my blog page and I'll have a link to it at the bottom of the video in the comments. Well, I hope you enjoyed this. Any comments or questions are more than welcome. Please subscribe and y'all have a nice day.